High Commissioner Saleh, Excellencies, friends. 75 years ago in this building, the world made a promise to people who had lost everything. I'm here today because someone kept that promise to me. But I'm also here to speak for the people it has not yet reached, people I know by name. I grew up in Kocho, a small farming village in northern Iraq. We were not wealthy, but we were whole. I had my mother, my brothers, my school, my plants, ordinary dreams in an ordinary place. In August 2014, it took ISIS one day to end all of it. They came to destroy the Yazidi people, not as a side effect of war, but as its purpose. The men were executed, the boys were taken, and thousands of women and girls, including me, my sisters, my nieces, and my friends, were taken into captivity. I do not need to describe those weeks to you, but what I want you to understand is what came after, because that is the part this convention, this anniversary is truly about. Like hundreds of thousands of people, I found myself in a displacement camp, a city of tents, everyone waiting, no one knowing for what. We were alive, but I learned something in that camp that has never left me. A camp can save your life. It cannot give you a life. Then one day, my name was on a list. Germany had opened its doors to 1,000 survivors of conflict-related sexual violence. I was one of them. I received care. I learned a new language. I found my voice, the voice that I'm using right now in this room. All of it because one country decided that a stranger's future was worth something. And I chose to use that voice to advocate and demand justice. Because justice for genocide is strongest when survivors lead it. And that is only possible when survivors are safe, when we have the standing to speak, to testify, even to return to the place where it happened. Germany gave me that safety. That is what the Refugee Convention truly is. A key to protection, to safety, to dignity. A key to justice. But the people I left behind in that camp were no less deserving than me. Nearly 12 years later, most of them are still there, in tents built to last months, not decades. And my community is not unusual. This is the ordinary shape now of displacement everywhere. Not weeks, not months, decades. Whole generations raised in a waiting room. I was one of the lucky ones, but safety should never be luck. Safety is a right, and a right that depends on luck is not yet a right. So on this anniversary, I want to say something with love for this institution and with the honesty this moment demands. The world cannot abandon its responsibility to protect people. That is the promise of 1951, and it must never be broken. But we must also be truthful about what protection means. Keeping people alive in camps year after year is not protection. It is protection postponed. It was designed as an emergency measure, and we have let it become a way of life for tens of millions of human beings. And I refuse to accept that this is the best the world can do because I know it is not. We are not a poor world, we are a distracted one. The resources exist to help the most vulnerable. The resources exist to help millions of people go home, to rebuild the schools, the farms, the clinics, the way survivors in my community have been fighting to rebuild Sinjar house by house with far too little help. And where going home is impossible, the resources exist to open real pathways to a real future somewhere new. The world does not lack the means to end displacement. It lacks the decision. Solutions are not more expensive than the alternative. There is nothing more expensive than a crisis we choose to make permanent. And let us remember what protection feels like from the inside, because I have felt both sides of it. To be protected is to sleep without listening for footsteps. It is to plan next year, not just tomorrow. It is to raise your children without the fear that a knock on the door, a change in politics, a piece of paper can undo your whole life. Millions of refugees live without that peace, in legal limbo, in uncertainty, in fear of being sent back to the danger they fled. A person cannot heal while constantly looking over their shoulder. Protection is not only a border you are allowed to cross. It is the certainty that no one will push you back across it. That is why I'm proud to add my name to the promise. Not because it is a ceremony, but because it is a commitment. The same commitment made in this building 75 years ago, renewed for a harder time. And we are here today to ask leaders everywhere to renew it, not only in words. Keep the door to safety open, share the responsibility fairly, and invest in what actually ends displacement, return, rebuilding, and the chance to belong somewhere again. Because a world where the persecuted have somewhere to go is a safer world for all of us. And I will end with this. I have sat across from presidents and prime ministers, and I have sat on the floors of tents with women who lost everything. And I have learned that the distance between those two rooms, between where power lives and where its consequences live, is the space in which every promise is kept or broken. I carry both rooms with me everywhere. This one, marble, flags, history where promises are made, and a tent in a displacement camp in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Sudan, in Uganda, wherever the waiting has gone on too long, where a woman my age is raising children who have never seen their village, still waiting for the world to remember her. For 75 years, we have understood the unimaginable suffering displacement causes. We have documented atrocities, measured crises, expressed outrage. We have learned how to respond to emergencies. But our ambition must be greater than response alone. If the last 75 years have been defined by protecting those forced to flee, let the next 75 be defined by restoring what they have lost. Thank you.